Hello everyone! From dramas to webtoons to novels, explore Korea's story with us. This is Who Reads Story. My name is An Sung-jin. I'm a news reporter, and here we have a new guest with us. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Madison Champagne. I'm from the United States, and I currently study at the University of Utah Asia campus studying film. Yeah.
Do you have anything? Well, I guess we'll kind of delve into it as we go more into it.
Yeah.
But you've mentioned that you're majoring in film and media arts.
Yeah.
What made you study this major itself, and why are you into film?
Well, honestly, I originally, when I was a child, we watch a lot of movies. I think a lot of people watch movies, right? And so I think it's kind of like a family thing. You know, you sit there, you
gather all together.
You sit at in front of your couch with the big TV, and you sit there and you watch movies. And I remember watching movies, and I was like, wow, this is like a feeling. Like this is something that it's an emotion. It's like something like I feel like everybody can have that memory.
Right.
So I feel like whenever you watch a movie, you can remember where you watched it and when you watched it, right?
I feel like it's the small things that get us hooked onto the emotions or the memories or stuff like that.
Exactly. So I've always wanted to create films myself. I thought it would be fun. Yeah.
I feel like you would be the right guest to be talking about our episode today on films.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can delve more deep into it. And today the movie we'll be talking about is director Heo Ga-young's The Summer. And it is a short film. It's a short Korean film, and obviously it's been gaining a lot of popularity. It was the first prize in the Cannes Film Festival to win the La Cinef Award, which is when it started to gain a lot of attention worldwide.
Well, I mean, what exactly is La Cinef?
Right. So La Cinef is an award. Basically, it gathers all these pieces from movie schools around the world, and obviously these first-time newbie directors put out their own pieces, and they compete and try to, I guess, figure out which one is the best film out of all, which is why this opportunity was for Korea to kind of shine. As this film won the first prize for La Cinef, it was a chance for Korea to kind of put its name out there in the world about movie.
Yeah, I mean, Korea's really far with movies, right?
Right.
Parasite.
We've come a long way.
Yes, you have.
We've come a long way.
Yes, you guys have. I'm excited to talk about this film.
And I'm excited to have you.
Thank you. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay.
So, the movie, the plot itself. I mean, could you first explain to us what the brief plot about is?
Yeah. So, First Summer, it follows a character named Yong-sun. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And it's an elderly woman who faces a dilemma when her granddaughter's wedding and the 49th day Buddhist memorial service for her lover both happen on the same day, right? Yes. But actually, I was talking earlier, I didn't know what the 49-day memorial meant.
Right.
Yeah, because I have no idea. Is it like a Korean thing?
Right. I guess for Koreans, it might be a little bit more familiar. What we call 49째 in Korean is, as you just said, it is the 49th day memorial ritual. And it is kind of a Buddhist farewell to bid your loved one. And as you just mentioned, within the movie itself, it is as important as a funeral day, perhaps, for those that are not familiar with the 49th day ritual, which is why within the movie itself, this becomes a very important plot for the character herself, because it's on the same day with her granddaughter's wedding. And that's why I guess we see that tension between the modern identity or, the modern day wedding versus the traditional values of the 49th day ritual itself.
Yeah.
Which is why, for you, perhaps, who might not be familiar with all these backgrounds, what was the movie like for you?
Well, I felt a little similar to you, but I feel like the movie, when I was watching it, I had felt like there was a kind of like an empathy I had for her. I mean, it was quite interesting because, as the story goes on, you're first introduced to her, and she's like living in a house alone. I'm pretty sure that her husband was sick, right?
Right.
Yeah, and that was kind of interesting myself. I didn't really understand the connection between her husband and then she had a lover at one point. Yeah, we can get into that later. That was quite interesting myself, yeah.
Right. It is interesting. And I feel like, as you mentioned, not only is the narrative itself interesting, but the topic or the way they explore the story itself is interesting. But why do you think, or how do you think they ended up coming to a storyline like this?
Oh, well, actually, I know the answer because when I was watching it in the movie theater, there was like after the film was done, they showed like the director's thoughts and what they were talking about the movie, and she said that it was inspired by her own grandmother. Right? Yeah. So I thought that was really interesting because I felt like she was quite a complex character myself.
And I feel like sometimes the personal narrative or the personal stories are the ones that shine better throughout films because you have a personal touch to it and because you relate more to it. I think those are the moments when the story comes out better. And as you mentioned, the story delves into this delicate emotion of this old lady, the main character, Young-soon, and she kind of wants the audience to look back at their own life, and it gives that reflection among the viewers, which is why I guess it had obviously won the award of the first prize at the Cinef. And it gives not only a personal narrative of the story itself, but it kind of gives you that other message of, you know, looking back at your own life type of deal.
Yeah.
Which is why it's interesting to see it despite it, you know.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I feel like there was a lot of scenes throughout this movie where it actually made myself a little like emotional.
Right?
Yeah, because I can really relate to her. I feel like I see, not necessarily my grandma, but I feel like I could see like my friend's grandma, kind of like, you know, people you see on the street. Like she gives me a vibe that's similar to that. And I thought that was quite interesting to like dive deeper into her, you know, than what she just looks like on the outside.
It's not just anyone. It could be anyone, but also it's not just anyone within the movie itself.
Yeah, exactly.
Were there particular scenes or moments that stood out for you?
Particular scenes? Oh, yeah. So I remember there was a moment where I actually assumed, when I was watching the movie, I was kind of on the edge of my seat because I was like, I assumed that of course she's gonna go to her granddaughter's wedding, right? I mean, that's what everyone assumes that is like morally right. So I was sitting there, I was like, of course she's gonna go to her. But then she actually ended up going to the 49th memorial. And I was quite shocked. And I mean, I don't blame her at all. I mean, that's what I would want to do in my heart. So I feel like when I was watching that and she was outside dancing in the little hanbok, I thought that was beautiful. It was like a handheld shot. It was gorgeous. I mean, her in the little hanbok and dancing around, so pretty.
Right, I feel like it's those moments that kind of go off from what we expect is what makes this movie kind of, you know, make us sit on the edge and really make us think about what or how the movie is going to unfold. Why do you think, you mentioned the scene about the grandma dancing and she was she looked very pleased with the hanbok and she was having her own moment. Why do you think, or what made her do that in that moment?
Okay.
If you were to give a guess,
if I were to give
as a cinematographer or a cinephile or a film student.
I don't want to give my assumption, but I feel like it's like her type of like freedom and like letting go, but also like she made that decision herself, because I don't know if you guys remember, but during the beginning of the movie, and there was a part where the daughter of the grandmother, she was like, oh, you're going to the wedding, right? Like, you better be going,
right?
You know, and I remember watching that, like, oh yeah, she's definitely gonna go. But then I feel like she obviously didn't want to. You know what I mean? So I was like watching that, and I was like, oh, I think like she was finally happy to do what she wanted to do. You know?
Right. I think it's because the expectations that are imposed on her exterior, on the outer side, or from other people, had kind of in a way confined her from feeling and understanding her emotions or her thoughts, which inherently turns out, you know, that she would rather go to the 49th day ritual than the granddaughter's wedding. Before we move, I'm just going to check the comments to see if, you know, any of our viewers have actually seen the movie. It's interesting to see how people know the director Heo Ga-young, because someone had written, director Heo Ga-young is amazing. And, and
I agree. Right. I was actually watching her after she was after the film, and you know they have that short little film, and I was watching that, and I was like, oh, she's like so like, you know, how do you say that, like amazing, right? You know, I was just like, oh, she must be so proud of herself.
Which is probably what, you know, won her the first prize for the Cinef at the Cannes Festival, and I feel like that's something that is quite noteworthy for Korean film industry. For me, if I were to choose what my impressive scene or like my favorite scene was throughout the film, you know, even though she doesn't go to the wedding, she gives this advice, like the grandmother gives this advice to the granddaughter, and she's like, you know, at the end of the day, what really matters is that you choose someone that makes you happy.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like that's
Yeah.
in the modern day society, it's a very important statement because, you know, finding someone that you like and makes you happy is obviously different from any other circumstances or any of the other conditions that you would impose when finding someone. And for me, that kind of stood out. And yeah, it also reflected what I'm thinking. So I think that part stood out for me most.
Yeah.
It was interesting.
I did see that scene, and I thought it was quite interesting myself too.
Right, and I guess at the end of the day, what we see is that, you know, it's not just this granddaughter and grandmother relationship. It goes kind of beyond that.
But I also thought that throughout the film, it was quite interesting to see that like elderly women also still like want to experience love.
Right.
They want to experience romance, and I thought like, because I mean, of course, when you get older, I mean, I guess I just assumed that everyone stays happily married, and you know, they get older, they have kids.
You
know?
become numb from the feeling of love.
Yeah, but I mean, I tried to put myself in her shoes during this film, and I thought it was. Yeah, it was a great film. I loved it. Yeah.
There are a lot of these like cutesy moments. We see how like their film background was like a selfie of the couple, and there are just a lot of these cutesy moments when, you know, that make us realize that it really isn't confined to age. It is just a matter about that emotion itself. And for you, Madison, since you're a film major. I'm sure throughout the movie you've also talked about, you know, how you've watched the director's cut or the film towards the end. Were there any parts or techniques or the way that the director unfolds her story that you said or you thought, oh, I should use that perhaps in any future film that I decide to create?
There were two moments that two techniques that I thought was really interesting. Is that she used handheld camera work a lot throughout the film. I mean, she wanted to create like a sense of realism to the characters, and I felt that through the cinematography. I mean, the lighting was gorgeous, and like it was just a gorgeous film. But I also really liked there was long cuts. I mean, it wasn't like, you know how usually throughout films they always cut.
Make these very eruptive cuts.
Exactly, but with this film, I felt like they really gave you time to like digest the character and like really get it all in, you know?
Right.
I really appreciated that. I thought that was, because of course, as a film major, you're taught like, oh, you need to make a short film that's 10 minutes, you know? And I don't think people realize that it's also like good to like have that time. You know?
And I feel like it's those techniques that really adds on to the mood of the film itself, as you mentioned, whether it be the hand holding or the hand helding.
Handheld, yeah.
Yes, the handheld technique or like the long shots. And I think those are the moments when you really see the emotions come through. You know, if they were a bit more abrupt, I feel like we wouldn't get that type of emotion. Or the expressions.
Exactly.
And I feel like these techniques kind of add on to why this movie was praised both in and outside of Korea. And obviously for our viewers who may not know what we're talking about, obviously this is your chance to go and watch the movie so you guys can understand what we're talking about. And apart from that, now I want to delve in a bit more about the topic or the theme of the movie itself. Obviously, we've kind of covered it before, but the main character kind of faces this dilemma throughout the movie. For you, although we've kind of talked about it, what would you do if you were in her shoes?
Oh my God. Okay. I feel like for some reason I would want like a way to do both. Yeah, I would want a way to be able to like maybe in the morning go to my
I thought the same thing.
Because I was like, I mean, honestly, even when I was watching it in the movie theater, there was like, I think like 3 other people in the movie theater with me, and I was sitting there and I was like, I wonder what these people are thinking too. Because I mean, of course, like even like the ending of the movie when she actually chose to go to the 49th day memorial, I was shocked. Like I was like, how can she even make a decision? But I would honestly try to go to both. I don't want to make my granddaughter sad, but I mean, I also kind of want to say goodbye to my lover, you know?
Right. It's that conflict between desire or what you wish to do versus whether it be your family's expectations or the societal norms of what you should do. Because I would have thought the same thing. I would have been like, there must be a way to do both without missing or, you know, making someone upset in the process of that. But, you know, I also respect on how the main character chose to do what she ended up wanting to do.
Of course.
And I feel like that's also a message that kind of comes throughout the film itself. And yeah, I guess that's interesting because it's not only about family, but it's also about love and desire, and all these different emotions or topics kind of come throughout the film.
Would you do the same?
See, that's difficult. When I was watching the movie, I was like, the way it's going, I was like, okay, I feel like she's gonna go to the 49th day ritual.
Oh, you kind of knew that.
I feel like I saw it coming because if she didn't go, I don't know. I don't think it would have been a movie.
Of course.
So I was like, okay, she must be going. But at the end of the day, if I were in her shoes, would I have been able to make that decision as easily? Probably not, is what I thought. Because both of the events are something that I wouldn't want to miss in a lifetime. And it's not like any of those would happen again. Which is why I would have put in a lot of thought. But I don't know how I would have answered it. So, you know, guess courage to her for choosing what she chose.
Yeah.
But yeah, and at the end of the day, because the main character is this, you know, old lady that kind of comes as the main character, it makes us reflect on how we want to end up living our life, or, you know, because we're still both young, there's so much ahead of us. And at the end of the day, I feel like what she goes through are inevitably things that we will go through as well at some point in our lives. How would you say that you would want to spend your, you know, late 80s, 90s? I don't know, people now live up to 100-year-olds. So maybe that's something that a long term or a long way down the road, but.
Yeah. I think when I'm 80, if I even make it to 80, geez, that's like, oh, if I make it to 80, I think, I mean, I want to be like, I want to have a big family, honestly. Yeah, I really want to have like a bunch of kids, a bunch of grandchildren, a bunch of grandchildren.
Right.
Yeah,
a nuclear family.
Exactly. I mean, I hope that I'm like happily married and, you know, just enjoying the rest of my years at 80. I mean, wouldn't you want that?
Right.
Or like you want to live with cats or...
I don't know. For me, the concept of marriage or finding a lover just doesn't come so imminently. You know, in modern day society, it's such a norm to have a small family and, you know, like 2 to 3 kids.
Yeah, that's true.
Find a lover, maybe not find a lover. And for me, what my life motto kind of is to enjoy the life I live. And regardless of, you know, whether I do have kids, have a husband, whatever, I think at the end of the day, what I hope to accomplish by the age of 80 or 90 is, I don't know, a satisfying life where I can kind of sit back on my chair and be like, you know, what a life it has been. And hopefully, you know, be living a life like that, which isn't really much, but it kind of is what it is. Happy,
satisfied.
There we go. Jinx. I think we're on the same page.
Yeah, that's good.
But yeah, so today we've talked about how the director's personal memory or her own personal life story kind of changed into this film, which talks about, you know, it's not just about desire from young people like us, but it also involves around old women, which was kind of how the movie First Summer was portrayed within director Heo Ga-young's movie. And now we've also talked about the life of an old person, and if any of our viewers would like to explore more on that, there is this movie similar with the actor Heo Ga-young in it, so I would also recommend that as well. Maybe you could watch it and, you know, delve more into how my life in the 80s or 90s would be. And for you, Madison, it was your first time being on Who Reads Story. What was it like to be
on Who Reads
Story?
Honestly, nerve-wracking, but now that I'm here, I feel more comfortable. I feel much better now.
Right, because also as a film major, I feel like you've had a lot more exposure to the way we watch this movie. Or,
so
you know.
I feel like when we watch films, we more like study them, how they're made, how they're thought, like pre-production, production, post-production. With every little detail in movies is like, it has to be thought out. Even this production right now, it's thought out, right?
It's thought out, right?
It's thought out.
It's not only the two of us.
Exactly. Don't expose it like that. But so I think like when I watched this film, I could tell that the director really put her heart into that, and I think, I really thought it was a beautiful story, and she did amazing job. So I think everybody else agrees too, right?
Right, yeah. One thing that was fun with Madison today was that not only did we explore the film itself, but we also talked about these, imaginative scenarios on how we would have been doing it, or if we were in the shoes of Young-soon, what would have been, what would have been like. Yes. So for our viewers who also maybe haven't watched the movie, you guys can check out the movie First Summer by director Heo Ga-young and explore other of these imaginative scenarios with your friends or families and think about what it would be like to become old. I don't know if I should put it like that, but it is kind of part of the story.
I mean, kind of, yeah.
On becoming old. That is all we have for Who Reads Story. This was Madison Champagne that we had.
Yes.
It's great to have you.
Thank you.
And next week we'll be back with another episode talking about Korean content, and that is all we have for today. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.